Good morning, you gorgeous lot, and a very happy Sunday. My name is Vicky and this is my baby boy names that I love but I'm not going to use. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Vicky, which I've already said. I am 38 weeks pregnant today with my second baby boy. We have chosen our name. We've had it chosen for around about 6 weeks, I would say. It wasn't an easy process, and I'm going to share with you our shortlist. So this is our actual shortlist that I have had on my phone my entire pregnancy. I've added names and taken off names when I've heard them here or there. So all these names that are on this list I love, and they were all potentials. And actually, if our baby comes out and doesn't look like the name that we've picked, which I'm sure won't happen, but if he doesn't, then maybe we might still use one of these names. So I'm just going to go ahead and read out the boys' names that I love, and yeah, this is going to be quite a short and sweet video. Okay, so this is in no particular order. I will tell you which one was our kind of second favourite when I get to it. So the first name on the list is Morgan, so quite a different name. And was one, you know, was at the top with our like top 3 or 4. Oscar really wanted us to choose this name because I'm sure if any of you have got young children that look at YouTube, he absolutely loves Morgs. Morgs has a channel, he's very successful, and Oscar absolutely loves him. So he was saying, please call him Morgan, please call him Morgan. Now, I love it, but one thing that put me off was my grandma, my dad's mum, went to go and see her about a month or 6 weeks ago. No, probably more than that, maybe a couple of months ago. And when I told her our top 3 names and one of them was Morgan, I mean, elderly people do not mince their words, do they? She was like, where'd you hear that from? Where'd you get that one from? So, not that I should let people's opinions kind of waver mine, because the one that we've chosen, I don't really care if anyone likes it or not, because we love it. But yeah, that is what happened there. So the second one on the list, and this was again, actually, I think the first 3 that do you know what? I loved them all, so I'm just going to go ahead. So the second one was Hugo. Now this was the first name that me and Simon chose. Simon absolutely loved it. I loved it to begin with, and a lot of my friends loved it, but our surname is double-barreled, so our surname is Thornton-Norris, and which you may already know because my channel is Thornton-Norris. I thought it sounded a little bit pretentious, Hugo Thornton-Norris. Now, we're not posh, so it just didn't fit with our family. So we have got an Oscar and an Isla, and I think although Oscar's an old name, it's quite a modern name as well, and Isla's a modern name, and I just felt Hugo, Isla and Oscar, I just don't think it flowed, but I absolutely love it. And actually I've heard a little boy in Oscar's swimming class recently called it, and yeah, it was really nice to hear. The next name was Carter. Loved this name, again was one of our absolute favourites at the beginning. I think I told quite a few people that was one of our on our short list. Carter Thornton-Norris. Simon never liked it. He thought it sounded too American. My family didn't particularly like it. They all thought it sounded too American and modern. Not there's anything against an American name, but they just didn't like it. They didn't think it went with any of our names, so it kind of put me off, because the more people that pulled a face at it, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. The next name on the list is Reggie. So I love this name. I actually first saw this name on a girl's Instagram. She had her baby, I would say 6 months ago now, and called him Reggie. And I thought it was so sweet. I loved it. Again, it's an old name brought back and made modern, because I don't know what the old name would it be, Reginald? But yeah, totally loved that. I do know a couple of dogs called Reggie, so that was it in the back of my mind. As I say, I still love it, so yeah, one of my favourite names was Reggie. The next one I actually had on the list when I was pregnant with Oscar, and it is Zachary. Love Zachary, always have done, wouldn't mind it being shortened to Zach, because when you're thinking of a name, I do honestly feel like you have to take into account shortening of the names. And actually, the name that we've chosen, I don't like the shortened version, but I'm just going to tell people off if they shorten it. But like, no, don't call him that. That's not his name. Because with Oscar, we always go, oh, Oski. Isla's just Isla because you can't really shorten that to anything. But yeah, Zachary, shortened to Zach, I love. I think it goes well with Isla, Oscar, Zachary. I think it was a really sweet name. So that's that one. The next name on the list is Jasper. I actually have a friend with a baby called Jasper, and this was my mum's favourite. My mum, if you're watching this, mum, she's like a dog with a bone. She still goes on and on. Oh, you can change it to that, you can change it to that. And actually, when you research what names go with Oscar, Jasper comes up a lot. I suppose it sounds quite similar, Jasper and Oscar. And I do love the name. But I just decided not to because I prefer the one that we've chosen. So yeah, totally love that name. Again, I think that's an old name, made modern, and a lot of the names on my list I do think are a little bit like that. The next one is actually Oscar's middle name, and that is Stanley. Really love that name. It's actually Simon's late dad's middle name, which is why Oscar has Stanley as his middle name. And even at one point we were toying with the idea of swapping over Oscar's name, so basically calling the baby Stanley Oscar. But then I thought, if we have another baby, it's going to get awkward, isn't it? We're going to have to like use Isla's name or something. So that's why I didn't. But I do completely love that name. Again, it's an old-fashioned name, made modern. I don't mind Stanley. I think I prefer Stanley. But yeah, completely love that name. But as I say, I feel like I'm being really repetitive. But as I say, we've chosen our name. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say about the names. Just love all of them, really. That's why they're on my list. The next one was also on our list when we were pregnant with Oscar, and that is Freddie. So I love Freddie. I know someone who's got a Freddie. Freddie is a very, I think it will stand the test of time. So it was popular, you know, 5-10 years ago, and it's still popular now. Again, I don't mind the shortened version if you were shouting out like Freddie. Don't mind that at all. So yeah, love the name Freddie. I think it's really, really cute. I think my sister's friend has just had a little boy called Freddie. And yeah, love it. And funny enough, my sister's friend, we had the same like names that we liked, and it's really weird because the one that we've chosen she liked but didn't call her baby, and then when she had her baby and called her baby Freddie, we'd literally put Freddie on the list like the day before. It was so weird. But we're not going with that name, so we're not going to have the same baby name. Not that I would have worried anyway, because she's my sister's friend, she's not my friend, although she's lovely. So it wouldn't have mattered either way what we would have called the baby. But yeah, Freddie, love that name. So the final name on the list, this is name number 9. So we did have 10 names on our short list. So name number 9 is Jackson, spelt with an X. I was the only one that liked this name. None of my family liked it. Simon didn't like it, but I loved it. And I first heard this name properly on Emily Norris's channel. When I first started watching YouTube Mums, she was one of the first ones that I started watching. And I loved the name. So ever since I kind of watched that, I thought if I had a little boy, I might call him that. And I still love it. But I've got to say, that wasn't in my top 3. As much as I love it, I had to go with something that went with Oscar and Isla. And I think when we have the baby and I let you know what the name is, you'll agree that the name that we've chosen will go with their names really well. So my favourite names are kind of old-fashioned but modernised names that can be shortened, but you don't mind the shortened version. Yeah, and I would say, like, I've not told many people our name, and the reason I haven't done that is because when I was pregnant last time, there was a girl that was a mutual friend on Facebook. I didn't really know her, but we were pregnant at the same time. And I had announced my baby name at my baby shower, I think. I had it on the cake, so like, welcome to the world, Oscar. I'd put it on, I think I'd put it on Facebook, and I put like, can't wait to meet Oscar. So everyone knew what our name was, and this girl had her baby on my due date. So I was really fed up, as you can imagine, first baby, desperate to meet him, and she had a baby on my due date and called him Oscar, and I was gutted. Now, it does not matter now, and did she do anything wrong? No, but at the time, I was like, it's because I've put it all over Facebook, she's copied my name. I was like an emotional mess. This time round, I'm not so precious because I understand that actually you get het up about it on your first baby, but once you've chosen a name, that's your name, go for it. I don't think you can change that. There was a situation recently where a really good friend of mine, we both realised that our baby names, and we are only 4 weeks apart in pregnancy, both pregnant with boys, and we realised that our baby's name that we'd chosen both started with the same letter. Oh my goodness, when we realised that. And I've been saying to her, do not tell me your name, don't tell me your name, I don't want to know your name, because if it's the same, who cares? Like, don't worry about it, we didn't know. The problem is, as soon as you tell me, you're gonna feel the way I felt 5 years ago. Oh, she's copied me because I told her. So my advice to anyone would be, if you are precious about your name, don't tell anyone, because if they didn't know and it's the same name, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's your name, that's what you've chosen. But I feel like if you tell people and then someone uses it, you think, oh no, I shouldn't have said that, and you beat yourself up about it. It really doesn't matter anyway, but that's how I feel. Anyway, on the story of the friend and me, we realised that it's not the same name. So that was brilliant. So we were both over the moon, because it would have been really awkward if it was the same. But yeah, so that is my baby boy names that I love, but potentially won't be using. So there's still a possibility that I may use one of those if our baby comes out and doesn't look like the name that we've chosen, but I'm pretty sure he will. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sending your suggestions in for videos, because this is one of the suggestions and I'm going to work my way through that list. There were some really good suggestions. If anyone else has any other suggestions, please let me know. I thought about doing a budget nursery. Yeah, nursery on a budget, because we have done a temporary nursery whilst we're waiting for our planning to go through. And we did it so cheaply, so I wondered if that might be a good video. But anyway, let me know. Thank you again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and a subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.